virtual wildlife ramble. We scrapped the walking bits this time though, as they were making people feel a bit queasy. We featured slender speedwell in our last video, and 3 more veronicas are now in bloom. Germander speedwell likes grassy places and hedge banks. Folk names include blue bird's eye, and if the flowers are picked, the birds will take their revenge by pecking out your eyes or those of your mother. Seems a bit harsh. Time-leaved speedwell likes more sparsely vegetated areas and shorter grass, and has much paler, slightly smaller flowers with beautiful violet veins. The smallest of the 3, wall speedwell, has flowers only 2 to 3 millimeters across, and likes bare ground, very short turf, or sometimes walls. It's easy to miss this one unless you're crawling about on your knees.
Whilst you're on your knees in a similar sort of habitat, you might notice small volcano-like mounds of earth with holes in the middle. These are likely to be the nest chambers of solitary andrena mining bees. Females create the burrows with 4 or 5 subterranean galleries or cells that branch off below the surface. She lays an egg in each and leaves a meal of pollen and nectar for the developing larvae. Once she's finished, she might excavate another nest or 2 before leaving the young bees to their own devices. There are many species of andrena, and they're tricky to tell apart. This may or may not be the one we've just been looking at emerging from the hole.
Green alkanet flowers are a favourite nectar source for the amazing dark-edged bee fly. It's a harmless true fly that simply mimics the appearance of a bumblebee, an evolutionary adaptation that helps it to avoid predation. It drinks nectar through its long fixed proboscis whilst holding onto the petals with its feet. Bee flies are parasitic, and females will hover over the andrena burrows we've just seen, flicking eggs down into the nest. The bee fly eggs hatch first before going in search of the larvae of the mining bee. They wait until they are almost full size before attacking them and feeding on their body fluids. Bit grim, but ultimately just plain fascinating. Red mason bees are another type of solitary bee which can be seen buzzing around old brickwork looking for nesting sites. Females excavate the softer mortar and create nest chambers in which to lay their eggs. Males emerge first in the spring and can be distinguished by their pale facial hairs. They mill about, cleaning and preening, waiting for the females to emerge. Sometimes hairy-footed flower bees or anthophora will utilise the same holes in the wall. The black, shiny females with yellow legs are very distinctive. Here's the female feeding at comfrey flowers. And here's some ropey footage of both her and the much paler male. The whining buzz and erratic flight are characteristic. Like the bee fly, this stunning ruby-tailed wasp has evolved to parasitise the nests of another species rather than create its own. It favours the cavities of red mason bees, and the female hangs about waiting for her chance to nip in unseen and lay her eggs. My attempts to film the wasp are pretty terrible, as you saw. Luckily, a lady from the village captured these wonderful shots that really show off its true metallic beauty. Thanks, Donna. Down in the wet meadow, the lesser celandines are past their best now, but cuckoo flower or lady smock is popping up in its place. This is another favourite food plant for the orange-tipped butterfly. Grasses can be tricky, but one of the earliest is also one of the easiest. Meadow foxtail, so named because it grows in meadows and looks a bit like a fox's tail. Here are a few of the moths we've been catching in the trap lately. Lots of other things turn up in moth traps from time to time. This is Hydrophilus piscius, one of the UK's biggest water beetles. It's incredibly well adapted to life in fresh water, with a beautifully streamlined shape, legs like oars on a boat, and the ability to trap air amongst tiny hairs around its body to enable it to breathe beneath the surface. It's only when you see it underwater that you can appreciate why it is named the Great Silver Water Beetle. Here are some of the tiny wildflowers currently on show. I'll leave you with this male cockchafer or maybug that also flew into the moss trap the other evening. You can tell he's a male as he has 7 leaves on his wonderful antennae. Females have 1 less. I think this one must be listening to the beetles on his Walkman. It's peak dawn chorus time and our next walk will focus on bird song. In the meantime, here's a free resource to help identify the calls and songs of over 50 common species. They're listed in the rough order they appear each morning, so just scroll down, read the descriptions and listen to the audio files. Hopefully you'll then be able to name the culprit that's been waking you up each day at 4:30 AM.